There's some huge news coming out of the forum and across the course of the footballing world over the course of the last few hours, with Derby County's transfer window looking a little bit underwhelming based on what we're getting reported at the moment. Now, I'm not saying that this is how things are going to end up, but this is definitely what is being discussed. And there's conversations in regards to James McConnell, who is from Liverpool, and it looks as if that deal may not potentially go ahead, which means that Derby County will be looking elsewhere. And looking elsewhere means Alex Mowatt. He's being lined up and being ready to come in. You then have the conversation about Sebastian Berhalter. Looks as if he might not be heading to Derby County after all. And then there's also conversations regarding Wrexham forward Sam Smith and Luton Town injury-prone forward Elijah Adebayo. You then have potential exits for that of Cruz and Oscar Fraulo, but we're going to discuss that in a little bit more depth. There's also been a couple of transfer rumours in regards to that of Emam Ashour from Ahly over in Saudi Arabia, and there's also conversations in regards to that of Aston Villa youngster George Hemmings. And as we all know, Danny Batth has finally departed the club after his contract expired 2 days ago. Now, you guys can let me know your thoughts on all of this down in the comments, but we're going to digest it all. So let me know what you think down below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. This is the Derby Digest. Let's digest it. Let's dive into it then. Derby County seem to be in a weird position with this transfer window, and coming from the forum, it seems as if some of these deals may not actually go ahead, and it's a little bit weird, and I do feel a little bit underwhelmed, I'm not going to lie. So if we dive into what came out first from not just an opinion on the forum, if Liverpool don't sanction McConnell, Mowatt is being lined up and ready to come in. Now, Mowatt in his 30s, back end of his career, you all know my thoughts on that. Is Mowatt a good option to have in the building? Of course. But is Mowatt the person that you want in the building over McConnell? Probably not. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that one. Me personally, I am not too impressed. I think it's a step down, if that makes sense. I think McConnell is someone that can progress and move forward. I think with Mowatt, you get what you're given. Coming towards the end of his career, he's not really going to progress anymore. He's not really going to get any better. And he may have an impact for the next 12 months, but what happens beyond that, what happens towards sort of the back end of that career, it's going to be a difficult one. You've then got the move in regards to Sebastian Berhalter, where it seems as if that deal is becoming more of a struggle as he is gaining more interest. Now, this is one thing that really frustrates me about Derby, is we've had interest in Sebastian Berhalter since around April. We've probably been watching him a lot longer than that as well, and we haven't made an official move. We haven't dealt an offer publicly. So that puts us in a position where if another club in a better division comes and goes, you know what, Sebastian, we'd like you in the building, they can just chuck their wallet on the table and go, yeah, come on, move over here. And we just absolutely let him slide. We let him go. We let him disappear. And now I'm not saying Sebastian Berhalter's the next Xavi, the next Iniesta, the next Sergio Busquets, or even the next Kevin De Bruyne. But would he help our squad? Absolutely. And if he can transfer what he's done in the MLS to the Championship, a bit like Patrick Agymanga's done, Derby County could be in an excellent position. But again, it looks as if that deal's not going to happen anymore. And to be honest with you, am I shocked? No. I do think whatever's happening with Berhalter will be done after the World Cup when the USA are knocked out. Could have been this morning, but obviously it didn't. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that one. Personally, I'd like Berhalter to be a Derby player. Think he's got a lot of quality. But the issue that comes with that is we have this habit of fucking around. Let's just put it that way. And the club are apparently deciding between Sam Smith and Elijah Adebayo. Why? Just answer me that. You can answer it down in the comments. Why? Why Sam Smith? Why Elijah Adebayo? I know Adebayo and Morris had a partnership 2 or 3 years ago, but since then, Adebayo has had a couple of big injuries. I think he played 3 games last season. Not particularly the type of player that you want to add to a squad that's already struggling with players that suffer with injuries. Max Johnston, Joe Ward, big injuries. You look there at Dion Sanderson at centre-back. You go into midfield, and we don't really have any players in midfield. You go to the forward line, Brewster's struggling. Blackett-Taylor struggles. Patrick Agyemang is out till December. Carlton Morris struggled to stay fit last year. So what are we going to go and do? You know what? Come on, Adebayo. Let me give you a 2-year deal and you can spend 2 years on the sidelines. That is probably the way it's going to go. And it's going to be really, really frustrating. Now, next up then, you've got the loan interest in Cruz Allen and Oscar Fraulo. I said it a couple of months ago, and I posted the short earlier on today. I think it was at midnight, about Oscar Fraulo. I don't think John Eustace ever wanted him in the first place. I think the lack of game time after that shows that as well. I think he only made like 2 or 3 starts in the second half of the year, and many people will turn around and say, oh, he's just bedding him in so we don't have a Kenzo situation. I'm sorry, but Kenzo was unbelievable the first half of 24-25 and then just fell off a cliff because he got played through injury over Christmas. I'll say it again with Oscar Fraulo. Felt as if John Eustace never wanted him. There's a tweet out there on my X page, the Derby Digest, where I essentially said that back in December. Feel bad for Fraulo. The lack of game time he's had since arriving. Just felt as if he was never given a proper chance to shine. Had some really good moments as well. But unfortunately, having good moments doesn't equate to actually being a John Eustace favourite and getting opportunities. You look then at Cruz Allen. For me, I still feel as if part of Cruz Allen's new contract is that he will play football at a senior level. The problem with me is I don't want players going out on loan. You look at the loanees that we've done over the course of the last couple of years. Dejan Brown to Port Vale, failed. You look then at Jake Rooney to Barnsley, failure. You look at Kenzo to Go Ahead Eagles, failure. Like, we don't loan our players to the right places. We don't give them opportunities to shine. We never should have sent Dejan Brown to a team that was probably going to struggle in League One. He should have gone to a team that was going to be up towards the top end of League Two, a team that are going to create chances, that are going to score goals, and we didn't do that. And it is extremely infuriating to see that another one of our young prospects is probably going to be chucked into the system and disappear and never actually go on to do anything for us because we just don't know what to do with them. And it baffles me because we've got such a good academy. We have brilliant players coming through. They get to 18, 19 and the club just shits the bed, has absolutely no idea what it's doing. We did it with Max Bird. We chucked Max Bird in at 16, right? He should not have been chucked in at 16, right? Chucked him in at 16. He absolutely shit the bed on debut. I think we got battered by Barnsley, if I remember rightly. I'm then pretty sure we chucked him in away from home against, I want to say, Aston Villa. We shit the bed. He didn't shit the bed personally. The whole team did. Now, you look at the best players that have come through at Derby over the last few years, right? They've all just played games for us. There's not been this situation where send them out on loan. Louis Sibley, Max Bird, Jason Knight, Lee Buchanan, Erin Cashin, they all just come through the system and into the first team. Yes, the circumstances around all of those coming in regards to like administration and financial regulations, but we just chucked him in. We gave him a go. We don't seem to do that anymore. And for a club that spends so much on their academy and their academy staff and stuff like that, I think it is an absolute... I think it's ridiculous, personally. I do think it is absolutely ridiculous. Now, we can jump on over to Emam Ashour now. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent. Don't know much about him. Not going to claim to. I am going to try and find some clips and I'll do a bit of an analysis video like I've done with Connor Chaplin and Luke Graham and stuff like that recently. £4 million probably gets you Sebastian Berhalter. And Emam Ashour, I believe he's 28 years old, so he's about 3 or 4 years older than that of Berhalter. Weird situation. Not sure I'm sold on bringing in a player from the Saudi League either, because I don't necessarily believe in the level, if that makes sense. As we know, Danny Batth has departed, 12 appearances last season. He reportedly wanted to stay. Derby didn't offer a contract that was acceptable for him to accept, unfortunately, which meant that he'll be moving on to pastures new. But I think wherever he ends up, he will land on his feet. Very, very good professional, does his job, competes to a high level as well, which is really good. But unfortunately, just wasn't the time at Derby County, unfortunately. And then we can end off with that of George Hemmings from Aston Villa, who is both targeted by Derby County and Sheffield United. Whether a deal will actually go ahead or not is completely different. I do think Derby County will max out their loan moves, but as it stands right now, no official offers have been made, so we will wait and see what happens. Now, for those of you guys who have not done so already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. This has been the Derby Digest. Let's digest it.